Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I'm going to empower you and teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality to reveal the steps you need to let go of your perceived limitations. Have you had the limiting self-talk over and over? Have you noticed you allow your fears to hold you back? If you're truly ready for change, I invite you to join me, Tracy L. Clark, and start your journey of transformation now. Welcome. Well, I want to welcome you to the launch of my show today. I am your host, Tracy L., and I'm here to teach you how to release the blocks in your life and how to start living your extraordinary life, where we're not only going to talk about the awareness on each of our episodes, we're going to be shifting the energy behind those blocks that may be holding you back in your life. So each episode, today we're doing the spirit of comparison and competition. But each episode that we do, we are going to really start to shift those energies so you can start to release them and walk in that reality. And you know what? My definition of living your extraordinary life is being accountable to myself so I can be accountable to each and every one of you. And it's also about being filled with peace and walking in a limitless world so we can keep creating together. And what that universe or that hand of God has continued to lead me to do, to be able to continue to show you how to do that for yourself. So I want to congratulate each and every one of you for taking those first steps today to living your extraordinary life, because showing up is the first thing we need to do. And I do promise you, with each episode, we're going to be here to help support you, inspire you, uplift you. So let's begin on that spirit of competition and comparison and how it can create blocks in your life, how we're conditioned to live with it, and how do we get around that? How do we do something different so it doesn't interfere with what we are wanting to create and generate into our own lives? And one of the things is with that, I call it the spirit of competition, because everything that we engage in is an energy. And competition is introduced into our lives pretty much at birth. If you have siblings, you can look back and you can start to see that there's a space where you learn to compete. It might be the toy, it might be better than needing something. And as we get a little bit older, you see it branches outside your family unit. And when we hit school, school is where it really, really, really starts to be ingrained, or organized sports. And one of the things that people forget is that you have trillions and trillions of cells, and they're talking and they're engaging with each other. And so when we start in this journey and we're in this spirit of competition, it really can hold us back. And here is why. Let's look at school. When we go to school, the first thing we do, whether it's sports or grades, and I love sports and I love learning. It's extremely important. However, the way the systems are structured, have you ever been that person where you got that exam back and all of a sudden you were like, I don't feel good enough because you weren't in that top percentile? It's not so much about yourself or your own learning, because an exam, for instance, is only a really good space of showing you how much you can memorize. But we're not taught that when we're small. So it's always where we start to compete with others. And you look at sports, they can either uplift us and motivate us to do better, or they can hinder us, because then all of those feelings about not being good enough or not being worthy or I didn't measure up, they start to collect in your memory bank. And your body is so much like this computer. It starts to reference all of these timelines you have and all of the learnings you picked up from your family about that spirit of competition. And I just want to actually start to remove, and if you could take a moment and think about in your life, where did you find you were competing against yourself and someone else, and it created a block, rather than uplift you to move you into the direction of where you want to go. And that's where healthy competition comes in. But if we look in the world, most of it is, I didn't achieve. I didn't get up here, so maybe I'm not good enough. Or you might have started out in a sport or an adventure and you were competing against other people. Or again, school. It really creates this massive environment to compete against each other, because it's like, well, what did you get on the test? Or what did you get on that test? And then think about how that made you feel. I know for me personally, I was a really crappy student. And I was a crappy student because I didn't learn that way. I didn't learn by memorizing. I learned by engaging. And I made myself wrong my whole life for not being this, really good student, for not measuring up, that my sister was a really good student and I wasn't. And I realized later through this journey of uncoupling and coming into the wholeness of who I am, that I was taught differently, and that I was looking at and competing against my classmates when that wasn't my area. It wasn't my space. It's like a pro athlete. If they're like a hockey player or a soccer player and you tell them to go compete in volleyball, but that's not their area, they're not going to do very well because that's not their area. So quite often in society, we're lumped into this group and we're expected to perform in a certain way. And then that's where we start to beat ourselves up. And I always say thank you to the hand of God, or thank you to the universe, divine spirit, whatever works for you. But I want to take that moment, if you can actually just feel what that was, where you felt you were in competition and it didn't work out the way you wanted. The other half that comes with that, because I'm going to just start to remove that for you. And the other part that comes with competition is, again, if you didn't come out at the top percentile where you thought. People don't realize that creates triggers in our cell memory, and it creates feelings of less than. And we are not conditioned to take that and say, well, what did I learn from that? I may have not come out in the best, but you don't have to. And one of the stories I love is the story around Jennifer Hudson and her singing, because she didn't win American Idol. She was competing. But look at how far her career has gone. Look at how beautiful, this voice was picked up and heard by just being herself. And this is what I want to reset for each and every one of you, is to not be competing and looking outside of you, that each of you actually has this within you. And we all do. But the patterns and the belief systems that we grow up with really starts to ingrain something that is not us. And it makes us feel less than. And that's where I always say that our minds are brilliant, but our minds are also viruses to us, because they start to overthink and we overworry and we overanalyze. And then we're like, oh, I didn't do my best job. And maybe you didn't at that point. But when you take that energy and you look at it and say, wow, I didn't fail at that. I didn't fall down at that. I actually am just learning a new way that works for me and a new system that works for me. So often we get locked up in systems, that the systems get us into this competition space to be whatever that top one is. And a lot of times the systems will actually pull you back, and then you lose your drive and you lose your motivation because you don't know what direction to go in. So this is what I love about, if you can look at anywhere that you had been competing, let's look at that again, or against yourself, because a lot of times we're looking so externally that we forget that we can become overachievers and over worriers because they're now competing within ourselves. And when we start to compete within ourselves, we can also have major issues around that as well. So I want to open this up for you. And I just want to encourage you to really start to hold on to what that thought is of competition and where it got, in your way, in your space. And I'm just going to start to thank that hand of God of removing that for you so we can start to lift you and shift you. And you know what? So we're going to go to a quick commercial break soon, but I want to come back and talk about the comparison. And if you have a question or you have something you'd like to clean up or talk about with comparison or competition, I do want to encourage you to call in. We have a 1-800 number, 1-800-930-28 1-800-930-2819. And, if you really want to learn more of that, check out our website at tracylclark.com, because this is where we do weekly as well, extra tips of how you can start to move, how you can start to release yourself. And let's get going, and let's take a quick break. And as we take this quick break, remember now, what are the competition things that got you locked up in your life? But start to think, where did I start comparing myself? Where did I start comparing myself, and how has that held you back? So when we do come back, we can actually start to release how you've compared yourself to others, because these two go very well together. And this is where it's time to break that limiting belief, so you can actually go into living your extraordinary life, which is creating more of that peace, more of that joy, and more of that inner harmony with your internal world and your external world. So let's take a quick break. And when we come back, get ready for comparison and competition. And let's reset your internal computers so you can get out your day today into a new way of being, thinking, and transforming.
Defining success and putting minds to work. With the Higher Learners Career and Leadership Series, Rudy Racine will help you craft your personal definition of success, offering support and guidance as you move forward towards your goals. Take the leap. With the right mix of focus and motivation, anything can be achieved. Tune in every first and third Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 Eastern, and for more information on Rudy Racine and Higher Learners, visit Rudy's site at higherlearners.com. That's HIRE learners.com.
The Knowledge Book, currently studied in 39 countries and 15 languages around the world, accelerates our evolution, takes us out of depression, offers universal truth, protects us, and makes us stronger, both spiritually and physically. So if you are interested in the Knowledge Book, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net and tune in to the Knowledge Book Radio with Marge Potasic on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Have you ever wondered if there's a way to heal the deep, hidden inner issues, wounds, beliefs, and traumas? The journey into spiritual healing engages people in all areas of their lives to heal themselves and others. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Dr. Jaffe brings conversations of healing of body, mind, and spirit as he merges the excellence of traditional medicine with the beauty of spiritual healing. For more information about Dr. Jaffe, this show, and his work, visit drjaffemd.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Healing has a ripple effect. One person's healing affects everyone around them. This is where the power of sharing our stories can be so important. Tune in to Playing on the Edge Radio with Megan Edge each month on Transformation Talk Radio, as Megan provides you with ways of sustaining radical and powerful changes in your life. Enact the power of radical change. To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, you've probably noticed that the more you fight these emotions, the stronger they seem to get. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, explains that instead of suppressing, we need to identify and resolve the deeper, subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety. His personal breakthrough program has helped thousands worldwide to overcome their emotional challenges. To learn more, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com and schedule your free consultation with Dr. Schaub now.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., and I'm so glad that we are here to talk about the spirit of comparison and competition. So I know we have some callers on the line. We're going to get to you at the bottom of the hour so we can start to engage in what you are looking for shifting and allowing us to sift through where you got stuck on comparison and competition. So you know what? It's one of these spaces and times where we compare ourselves a lot. We are brought up in that world of let's compare, and then we start judging ourselves. Have you ever been there? I know I was the queen of comparison and the queen of worrying a long time ago until I figured this one out myself. There is a place where we're taught in society to compare. And again, that goes with competition because you're like, well, I want to be better. And are people judging me? And how many times have you gone out and you're like, that person is judging me? And you don't know if they're judging you. They probably could care less that you're standing there. But we do. We get these little things going in our brains. And then we start to look at, I know I used to do this a long time ago. I'm sure each and every one of you have done this. Look at your career. Look at where you're going. And you're like, oh, I want to be there. And how come I'm not there? And we start comparing. With what we forget is that we are here on our journey, and we have this individual journey that each and every one of us have been mapped out to do. And when we get in the spirit of comparison, we, again, like competition, start to make ourselves feel less than. And there is a really good tool I like to tell my clients, and, you know, I love to share with them, is to say, when you look at what somebody else is doing, look at it and ask your body to be in this alignment, to look at it as an observation, to take the information that resonates for you, that only resonates for you, and let go of the rest. And here's why. There's only one you, and we're not really taught this growing up. We're taught to be like everybody else, you know, fit in, be in the masses. So we start comparing, and we're like, well, and especially women and men, you know, when I work with both on a very regular basis, and they all tell me the same thing, especially now, men will say, you know, I don't look good enough, or I haven't achieved much in my career. Women are telling me the same thing because we're constantly comparing. What is the expectation? What should we look like? What should we earn in our, you know, careers? And if we don't earn this or that, then maybe, you know, we're less than. And it's not true. And, you know, I saw an interesting post on Instagram yesterday from someone who was like, would you date somebody that, you know, doesn't have a degree? And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? Because I'm like, and it was interesting to read the comments because they started to compare, and it was about comparing about other people and education and, you know, and your achievements. And it's a bunch of garbage, I have to say, guys, because here's the thing. Each and every one of you, we're here to learn, and we have different skills. And just because your skill set may have been trained in one area doesn't mean you can't change your transition. I know personally, I have changed and transitioned quite a bit into doing what I love, living this extraordinary life and space and teaching others like you. I didn't do this when I was in my 20s. I bought and sold companies. So I learned and I shifted and I came into who I was. And when I learned this, and I want to, you know, really start to move you guys in this direction, and then get your bodies into that alignment. Because here's the thing, our brains, our mind, and our body can be giving out different frequencies. So a lot of times people say, focus on your intention and focus on your mind and what it's telling you. And that's great, but your body can be going in a whole different direction. And then you're like, why isn't this working for me? And you can get a little bit stuck. So this is a place where we can, almost like a light bulb, you know, you screw it in, we got to screw in the mental and the physical bodies. So what you can do is start to feel so proud about where you've come from and how far you've grown and changed. And we so often don't celebrate our journeys. We look at what's wrong or what hasn't come through yet. And then that's where we compare to others. Well, look at, they have this beautiful relationship and I don't, or they have this beautiful career and I don't. And we're really taught that from that spirit of competition that really starts at an early age. So as humans, I want to start to move that energy in you to start being in this space where you can see how far you've come and celebrate what you're bringing in and letting go of the accumulation of all the places you planted seeds, which I say turned into roots. So all the energy you planted about, I didn't achieve this, so I'm not good enough, or they have this and I don't, so it's not for me, it's for them. Do you see how much we compare? We compare all the time. And there's so I'll start to move that out. If you just tune into your bodies and you just feel where it is in your body, because your body is brilliant. We are going to get more into that on these episodes and teach you how to listen more to it. But I want to start to move this out. You start to feel, where is it in your body when I say that comparison and feeling less than, because somewhere in your timeline you compared and you felt, wow, look at me. I didn't get that. I didn't achieve that. I remember many times when I would compare myself especially as a young person, someone who had an ulcer at I think I was 5. Yeah, I worried about everything. And I was always looking around, and I really had the lowest self-esteem, I think, out of anybody I knew when I look back. And I always thought I was being judged and I had to be better. And, this is what happens when we start to compare. Not good enough. I'm not good enough. And that tape plays over and over in our brain. And when we can actually align the body, which is what we're going to do today, to see that I'm perfect exactly the way I am now. And a lot of people say to me, Tracy, I try that and it hurts. It doesn't matter if your brain is telling you something still. You're going, thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, divine. I am absolutely perfect. And I am in the right space. This is my journey. And I'm ready to take an action step somewhere new. It doesn't matter if your brain is going, really? You don't think you are? I don't think you are. Don't listen to that chatter. Speak it out loud. This is a great tip I love to say to people. Speak it out loud and really get into that space where you can start to see. And everywhere, instead of comparing, this is one of my favorite tips that I love to get people is, you look at what somebody else has achieved. You look at where they're going. Don't compare. If it's something you would like in your life, if it's something you would like to engage in, you look at it and you say, I'm going to take that. I deserve that. I'm taking that. I deserve that. And you're going to feel, as you take that into your body, there's going to be parts in your body that isn't going to feel so good. And your body's going to go, really? I don't think I deserve that. I don't think I should take that. And this is fabulous, because when you actually have the awareness where you can say, I don't feel so good taking that or deserve that, the next question you ask yourself is why? Why? And start to see what comes up. You might say, I don't deserve that, because if I get that, how are my friends going to respond? How is my family going to respond? The biggest block that we get when we start to compare, and I will thank that Hannah God and the universe divine to starting to remove this for you, that the biggest block when we compare is we get so scared that if we do take those things we're asking for and we do embrace them into our system, that our external environments will have to change. Did you know that's why we spend so much time in comparison and judgment, but we never take the actions and jump? I say, get into that cold water. When you were a kid, you jump in the cold water and your head would freeze. You need to jump because it's safe and it's okay. And we can start to take the learnings from our environment. And so often we miss our journeys of what we know we really want to do. Because when we start to say, I take that and I deserve that, and we dissolve the spirit of competition, we dissolve the spirit of comparison and move into observation and co-creation with the universe and with that divine and that hand of God, what happens is we start creating. But I will guarantee you, your external environment will have to change. And that is one of the scariest things that I learned, is that my external environment had to change, and it was going to change. And that sometimes isn't so comfortable. A lot of people talk about change and it's wonderful and embrace it. Sure, it is. But it's scary and it's not comfortable. And to be in truth and honesty, it isn't comfortable. And this is why we get into that place of understanding what is comfort and what is not. So when we go, where do you find yourself as your biggest comparison? Is it in your business? Is it with your family members? Is it with your friends? A lot of people, it's on their social media. and it locks up your cell memory. It locks up who you are. And again, look at where, truthfully, in your environment, where does that stick for you? And let's start to shake some of that within your body. You will feel it in your physical body as we're moving this and talking through it. What needs to drop off? I always say your tailbone, your root, we strengthen that, we open it, and that's where we like that energy to drop off your body. And then we can start again to co-create. So what are you truly ready to bring in to live that extraordinary life for you? It's different for everybody. What are you truly ready to start to say you deserve and you're going to take that? It's different for everybody. So we want to open this up for you so you can start to bring in the new, and you can start to bring in what you are ready for. I love it. And I love how spirit works with each and every one of us. And I love when we start to understand, to dissolve competition and comparison and use it in a healthy manner that supports us and uplifts us. That's where we get real change. That's where we get real transformation. So I promised you at the bottom of the hour, we are going to come back and we have some callers on the line. So we're going to make sure we take those calls live and start to shift and move your areas around competition and comparison. And, you know, I always encourage everyone, if you love this episode and this podcast, this radio show, if you're really enjoying it, please make sure you share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family, because this is how we build a community together. And we're all about building a community, growing together, going together, uplifting you, inspiring you, and making sure that you are on your journey. Because quite often what I found, and I love about the community we've built at the TLC, we call it the TLC Community of Extraordinary Living. My community name that, not me. But what we do is help each other every day. And some days, as people tell me, it can be a little bit lonely. So we have created that space, that private Facebook group to help you never feel alone, help you feel connected, and give you those tools every day to keep on shifting. So again, I encourage you, check us out at tracylclark.com and see how we can continue to go with you and grow with you. And we will see you back after the break for our first caller.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, you've probably noticed that the more you fight these emotions, the stronger they seem to get. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, explains that instead of suppressing, we need to identify and resolve the deeper, subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety. His personal breakthrough program has helped thousands worldwide to overcome their emotional challenges. To learn more, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com and schedule your free consultation with Dr. Schaub now.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Are you ready to make deep, lasting, transformative changes? Then tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio for Susanna Jameson's hit show, Love, Light, Sound Radio. During her show, Susanna inspires and supports spiritually and health-conscious individuals all over the world to reconnect with their hearts, their inner peace, and balance. Love, Light, Sound Radio. Transformation happens here now. For more information, visit SusannaJameson.com.
Tune in to the Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm Tracy L. And I just want to thank our lovely producer today, Jessica, who has, in our debut show, been helping me and holding my hand through this. And I just want to give a great big shout out to you guys and thank you for being so amazing. So I understand we have a caller, Jessica. Laura, is that correct?
Yes, we do. Laura, you are on with Tracy Clark.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Hi, Laura. Welcome to the show.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, I'll give a call, see what happens. And I got through. And I just want to give a great big shout out to Tracy because I've 2014 when I went to your meetup and all the love and support and that I've gotten to help me grow it's amazing. And I'm so grateful for the partnership program because I know I've got that lift daily.
You're ready to counteract and get rid of competition and comparison. So where, Laura, let's ask right now because
huge for me.
Yeah, it's helped. Where do you find you've had the biggest breakthrough or change with comparison and competition in your own life through working with the partnership program and coming along with us in this community? Where have you noticed that has changed for you?
It's changed in even just in my daily life and dealing with the ups and downs of life too, and just letting go of I don't know, Tracy. All of a sudden I get stumped whenever you ask me.
Welcome to live. So look back, where did you used to compare yourself the most to others and you don't do that anymore? Or where can we give you a boost? You don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I just even okay, well, I'll use my friend, right? Like, I'm doing all this work and all this stuff and she can be kind of on the negative side, and then she finds the love of her life and then they just bought this big house. Together, like a nice house with a big backyard and all those kind of dreams I've been wanting. And then I was like, it's okay. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, and it's a sting at first, though, isn't it? Because I know I've been there. And we go, wait a minute. I'm working and I'm opening myself to love and my authentic self. And it's like, oh, I would like that too. So when you say, I deserve that and I take that, how does that make you feel now? When you look at that,
it makes me feel good because I've been doing it right. I was like, Laura, don't get into that envious, jealous spirit. Like you don't, like you accidentally can get in there. And I was like, oh, that needs to go, right?
Yes, and, exactly. And that gave you that strength, right, to see that your life is on your journey and your timing because you've been all about timing.
That's right. And that's,
And timing can be a little bit difficult, can't it? Because when we're waiting on timing and we're comparing to what other people have achieved or have, that's probably one of the biggest blocks that a lot of people have. We can start to move, for all of you, collapse what I call timing some more, because when we're asking for certain things and we're comparing to what other people have, our timing can frustrate us that it hasn't come at what we're thinking it should be. And that has to do exactly with understanding that certain circumstances, like your children have to, grow up a little bit more, or that partner is perhaps just waiting to finalize maybe an ending in their relationship, or, it's just not that ready yet. And that can be a very frustrating moment, can't it?
It is, because you're like, is it really going to happen?
Yeah.
Ever?
And that's where I've been there where you have been. And so that's where I like to say, thank you, and just bringing this in and really saying that timing and that I'm taking that because it's on its way to me. It's really on its way to me now. And we can adjust each and every one of you to make sure it's on the way. I guess then the other thing is, where do you find now how you feel from doing those shifts and changes around when you look at competition or you look at your incidences from when you were in school? Do those ever bother you anymore?
No,
Good.
There's some, I was thinking about, when I was listening to you when you first started, and I was like, the comparison thing and competition was I had actually a cousin who I was named after. Her name was Laura, and she was actually really rich, and she had a cottage, and we'd go there, and then they spontaneously put me in a little competition show for girls, like a fashion or whatever they call it, get a crown and all that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and,
beauty pageant.
and I had no idea that, I didn't even know what was going on. They said, let's just put her in spontaneously, and they put lipstick on me, and I was on the stage, and I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. and then afterwards, that's when I really saw the spirit of competition, I think, really sunk into me, because I was very disappointed.
Yes. Yeah. Because again,
I didn't have that crown, and I was like, well, what's wrong with me? How come I can't have it and wear it?
Yeah. And that's similar to what I was saying earlier about looking at people that have come, quite a bit further, right? And saying, well, I maybe not have been that number one person, but I still have this beautiful space of being able to achieve in another area. And it's a learning, right? So I like to reset everyone to understand it's just a learning that you did great, because to get up there, we forget that just by getting up there is amazing, right? Just by going through the process.
Exactly. And then I danced and I played music.
Yeah, and to be in this celebratory space of who you are. And that's a great way to look at competition, that so often it's like, we did the best we could. So who cares? We can remove where we have expectations and outcomes. We can start to remove those so we can actually take the learnings, and it'll actually resettle our systems. It'll resettle our cells and allow us to even become bigger at what we want to do. And it basically, in our energetic bubble, will start to expand when we take that in. So now when you go into what you feel is a competition, do you find it's more playful and less competitive, so to speak? Would that be accurate? Oh, we might have lost Laura. Okay.
Oh, yep, I think we lost her. We'll see if she calls back.
Okay, that's okay. It happens sometimes. Well, we can actually carry on with that thought. Thank you. So, yeah, quite often when we go through these competitive moments, we can reset our cell system and reset our belief system, because a lot of times we forget. We always think we have a mental space, and a lot of people talk about that. But you have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, and psychic, and many, many, many more. And they're always talking because we are all connected. And so when we find ourselves in a place or an environment with what might be competition, or we feel it's comparison, then we can always, realign ourselves and understand, what is this that I'm getting from this? What is the experience? And again, don't take the negative side of that, take what the positive is and just start to move that. So I want to take a minute too and thank Laura for calling in and sharing her stories and her achievement and part of that community. And if we have another caller, that's absolutely, let us know. And it's one of these places where when you really embrace the true essence of you and start to see that beauty in you, life changes. And just go back into a moment. One of the things I like to talk about, right, with worry and comparison, and especially work and people's money, quite often we worry or we're comparing. And then you get through that period of transformation and change. And this is what I love about the whole name of Transformation Talk Radio, I have to tell you, is because life is about transformation. And there's so much out there to learn. And this is a great place to come for learning and transforming your life. Because when we are really embracing transformation, the spirit of competition and the spirit of comparison goes, and we start to open this up to transformation and change. And I always use that word. And when we're open to taking that in, watch what happens in your life. And when we start to celebrate the experiences, the highs and the lows, because we're only conditioned to celebrate the highs in our life. But let's start to align you to also celebrate the challenges and the lows, because without those challenges, without that, space where you had that new awareness, we wouldn't have gotten the change, and none of us would become to where we are today. And we have this beauty ahead of us. So I like to say, what if every day you could transform and change? Every day is a new opportunity to transform and change. And I just want to thank that kind of God for resetting this for you and opening and bringing in and imparting more information. And now how we can change the way your viewpoint is and how you see the way you compare and compete with other people. And we can start to move that into love. And I really want to talk more about that when we come back from the break, because when we can start to move into that love, we can make comparison and competition our friend, and we can make it a joyous space. We can make it an inspirational space, and it will uplift you, because this is a time of great change and great awareness, mass awakenings more than ever before. This is a time people like you and me are hungry for more and hungry to learn more each and every day. So I want to encourage you to share the show, the episode, if you love it, on your social media. We have it at tracylclark.com as well on our website, where you can check us out more. And like Laura said, check out our partnership program. I encourage it because it is daily work with me and our community and really getting you quicker to the place you want to be. And one of the things I love the most is when someone said to me, you know what, Tracy, when I have a down day, I open that video, I get it each day. It's not canned. It's you live in the morning. Yep, me live bright and early, sometimes 5:30, saying, here's what we got. Here's what we're going to shift, and we're here for you. So we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. Let's see how we can transform competition and comparison into love to change your life.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens with Colette Marie Steffen is excited to welcome Karen Benton as a monthly guest host. Tune in on the third Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to regain confidence and trust in your capacity to create change in your life, your health, your family, and your well-being. Karen Benton is a mother, nurse practitioner, certified body talk practitioner, Franklin Method instructor, and owner of Limitless Living LLC. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBenton.com.
Love Living Radio Ignite Your Whole Being with Emily Perkins is a show for those looking to explore the sparkling magnificence of their inner selves. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific as Emily sheds a radiant light of love on the beauty and power that resides within you. Discussing love in all its forms through conversations that provoke awareness, curiosity, and expansion, Emily shares the unlimited power of love. For more information or to listen to this show, visit lovelivingholistics.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., where we have been talking today and shifting the energy around comparison and competition. How are your bodies feeling? That's what I like to check in when we've had some time together, because as we're moving this through your system, some people say to me, Tracy, after I've heard you talk or lecture, whether you've been to a global online event, we do those every month, or you come to something in person, or you've heard me speak, they're like, why am I so tired? Or why do I have so much energy? It is your body moving into the new direction. It is your body letting go of old programs and old belief systems, and naturally. And I can't wait for next week when you're going to tune in and we talk to you more about, really shifting with your body, what it's telling you, because your systems are ready for an upgrade. You're ready for understanding, just like your cell phones and your computer. Why are you getting upgraded, and how quickly can you make these shifts? Gone are the days where you have to sit there and look at every nook and cranny, guys. So this is where we're going to get you moving fast. This is our goal on these shows every week, is to help you shift more. We said before the break, we wanted to talk to you about, really opening up you more of transmuting the old way of comparison and competition and moving you into the new way of expanding into love, and what that really looks like. Because the energy of comparison and competition can get very heavy, like I was saying, if it's not used in a positive manner to really uplift you and move you into the right direction. And that's why it's like looking at your body and moving you from the 12 o'clock, I would say this to my partners in my partnership group, to the 3 o'clock. So we're turning your system. So you can just see your body just turn that quarter of a space there, and understanding that now you're ready to take in new information. Quite often people will listen to a lot of information, but they're not absorbing it. They're not taking in that action step. And when we actually really start to say, I've looked around me and I've observed what's outside of me, and I realize that within inside of me, when I start to fill that void with love, I can now appreciate everything that we're connected to, because we're all connected, and people hear that, but I don't think people really believe it on a lot of levels from what I've seen. You're connected to that hard table, your computer, through the airwaves, but we are. And really to feel the beauty within you, that you don't need to lack for anything or compare with others, other than to a sense to help you grow or to learn. You're just to learn and mold it into you. And remembering that you are this beautiful person who's an individual who came here. And it's funny, I've had people say to me, I'm a twin. You're still an individual. You're still here with your purpose, your journey, and your mission, and that application. And that's why I want to encourage each and every one of you to really go through your timeline and say, where do I still feel hurt or frustrated or angry when I didn't, where I felt I failed at competition of something, or I felt I failed for myself in a competition. And I loved what Laura was saying about this beauty pageant, and how she was saying, I wanted the crown and everybody wants the crown. And it's interesting because I know I went into a competition a long time ago, and I was Ms. Calgary and years ago, which started me on a public life. And I said, I didn't want to be there. I'm not going to compete. I don't want anything to do with this. And somebody put me in. But as I actually won, and I was shocked, I didn't think I was going to win. I'm like, why? There's all these beautiful ladies and they're lovely. And I learned through that journey that was part of my journey for later on in life. At the time, it was hard for me to embrace, and I don't deserve this, and why me? And that's the other flip side of competition that we don't understand is, you can win like that and say, well, why me? Like, why would that be me? Why there's someone better than me? And I was still in that mindset of there's somebody better than me. Why would God, spirit, divine, why would the universe give this to me? And I realized later it was a stepping stone of prepping, of understanding how to deal in a public life, how to have, because there was a lot of pitfalls. Trust me. I always say, what did someone always, there's that old saying, new devil, new level, but it's that space of where we learn. So competition, when you win, can be scary. And when you lose, it can be scary. So do you see how we're our own worst enemies? So I want to just start to move that through where you can embrace where that beauty is with you if you've won something or you're achieving something. And if it doesn't look the way you think, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's a bigger picture that most of us can't see. We have to open our eyes and expand our perception to see more of what's in front of us and understanding all of our stepping stones. So if you can take that spirit of competition and comparison and use it as stepping stones, and that's your tip. What is this teaching me? Why am I here? What am I learning from this? And you actually can, I always like to say you hit your delete button on your computer. Well, I always hit my heart. So I tap my heart and I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, divine. I'm releasing that out of my system. I'm not taking that in. I'm resetting myself. So when you hear me say, a lot of times we're imparting or speaking new information into your body, into your computer of your body, it's your heart. And you're like saying, okay, I'm going to reset. It's amazing if you take a deep breath by just tapping your heart, how much you can reset very quickly. And if you need to back something out of your space, take a step backwards, turn your body that 15 degrees, just go on that space and reset. Your physical body will pick up the action of what you're actually telling it to do. And then you can just, thank however you like to thank. I would say, thank you, God. You can say spirit, divine, universe, no right, no wrong, of how you're bringing in that new love of what you're learning and that new love of experience of what you're experiencing. And when you bring that through, watch how much change will naturally take place. So one of the things I want to remind everyone today, as we're coming to a close, is that we don't always see what's on the other side, but if you try, which is my definition of faith. I have these things on my website. You can see them, little candles that trust, know, believe. Why? Because they're there to remind you that however your faith is and how you connect in, that there's something bigger out there than each and every one of us that's driving us, motivating us, uplifting us, inspiring us, and pushing us forward. So after today, I promise you're going to start to feel that nudge in that new direction. And you're going to start to take in, I deserve that and I take that. And you're going to move, you're going to create, you're going to shift. And when you take those steps, there might be some fear. But if you work through the fear, you jump in that cold water, like I said, and take that risk, it's not going to look two things. It will not look the way you think. And it's not going to be on your time. So we have to start to collapse the timelines where you think it's on your time and where it doesn't look the way you think. Wow, what a great hour. I just, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us in this hour of change and transformation. I trust you're going to join us next week where we're going to share with you, as I said, some more tips of how your body's communicating with you and to see if you're really ready for an upgrade, because we're going to do that upgrade for you. And, if you truly desire that constant change, shifting, and supporting, and you want a real community, we have a beautiful global community. I want to personally invite you to check out our daily partnership partnership program. And, where we work with each and every one of you every day, and our community, our private Facebook group, offering you support and encouragement every step of the way, so you can step into your authentic self. You can learn how to let go of fear. You can learn what your body's telling you. And as a body regen specialist, I'm the creator and founder of the body regen method. I teach you those little tips. I teach you those little things in that program, so we can grow together and we can go together, and you get that life, because the life you want is going to look different than the life I want. And each and every day, your definition of extraordinary living is going to be unique to you and me. So I just want to thank our amazing producer again, Jessica, for helping me today and getting us going on our first show. And I really cannot wait to see you guys each and every week, Tuesday at 8 a.m. when you're out on the West Coast, and 11 a.m. in the East Coast. So continue to shift and go, because when we grow together, we go together. Thank you again for joining me, Tracy L., and I cannot wait to see you next week. So keep on shining, removing the spirit of comparison and competition, and watch how those changes are going to show up in your life now. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality, revealing the steps you need to transcend perceived limitations. As a remarkable leader and pioneer in my field, I, Tracy L., will provide insights energetically and the tools required to move you forward. For more information on my partnership program, check us out at tracylclark.com.